nearpod.com, or I'll put the link in the chat if you want to go ahead and join via the link. But I would love for everyone to join in. I know we don't have a ton of time together, so I'm going to get started in the next minute or so. So far, we got 10 people in this actual session, and I don't really see anybody joining the lesson just yet. So I'll give everyone some time. All right. People are slowly trickling in to the Nearpod lesson. So while people are doing that, I will, yeah, it's loading slowly. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I feel like we'll just have to wait a few minutes then. There's no problem. I hope everybody is doing well and that your morning and afternoon is going great. Go ahead and join the Nearpod lesson. I'm going to start chit-chatting while you guys are doing that. I'll put the link in the chat again for you. So today we're going to be talking about virtual versus in-person use of Nearpod. We're going to talk about just the experience of being virtual and in-person and the role that technologies and tech tool play in the in-person classroom and in the physical classroom. I know it can be a touchy subject for people, especially like, I mean, I was in the pandemic too. I was teaching during that time. So I totally get the hesitation. So we're gonna discuss what that could look like and how we can still kind of bring value to the in-person learning experience through Nearpod. Quickly, a little bit about me. My name is Asia. I am your customer success manager, which means I'm just here to help and make you happy. Truly, that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy problem solving. I enjoy meeting and talking to teachers and just kind of making an impact in the classroom. Before I was at Nearpod, I taught for 6 years. I was mainly third grade, but I also taught first grade. I'm from Maryland. I still live in Maryland. I live in St. Mary's County. I grew up in Calvert County. I went to Northern High School. Familiar with the area. And anyway, I was teaching for about 6 years, and then I became a resource teacher for 2 years, which is like our catch-all person, tech person. I did interventions. I kind of did a little bit of everything. And I really loved that position, but I wanted something else. So I jumped over to Nearpod, and I actually was on the curriculum team for about a year, over a year. And so some of the content that you see, the videos that you see, I've made. Oh, you're from Mechanicsville. Yeah, I live down by Gate 3. I live in Cedar Cove. I live by the base. But some of the videos and content that you see, I may or may not have worked on. I loved my time in content, but I really wanted a more customer-facing role. I wanted to kind of be a problem solver. I wanted to kind of get back to what I was used to doing, which is, model teaching, just teaching everybody about technology in general and, making an impact that way. So I moved over to customer success and, yeah, that's what I do now. And that's where I'm coming from, just so you know. And so today we're going to be exploring meaningful learning experiences in the physical classroom using Nearpod tools, any questions or concerns that you have about tech tools and using the tools in Nearpod in the classroom and during in-person instruction. Oh, just kidding, I'm going to back up. Before we go further, most of you are in this lesson. I'm going to share something with you that people forget is there sometimes. If you look on the right-hand side of your Nearpod, you should be able to see a pencil and paper icon. If you click on that, that'll allow you to take notes on the presentation as we go through. And then you'll have the option of having the whole entire presentation sent to you via email or downloaded directly to your and saved in your Google Drive or on your desktop. I like to tell people that it's there just because it is a really cool tool and a cool feature to have the entire presentation after you're done with your personal notes on it. So please take some time to click on that icon and fill that in. You guys are, why does it look like that? Do you guys see the poll? Oh, why does it look like that for me? Looks weird. Um, I want to know if you're an expert, if you have launched a lesson or two. Can you actually participate in it? I don't know why it looks like that. That looks weird to me.
I can't click on anything on it.
No.
That's so odd. Okay, well, technology is technology, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to quickly launch a open-ended question for you guys. How well do you know Nearpod? This is not part of the plan, by the way. I like having the poll feature. So I don't know what's going on there, but you guys should see an open-ended question popping up for you in a second. All right.
Got it.
How well do you know Nearpod? Are you super familiar? Have you launched a lesson or two? I'm gonna go ahead and hide student names because I want you guys to feel comfortable to answer. So it'll give me a participation score as you guys are going through and as you're answering the question. If you've launched a lesson or two, cool. If you've never launched, if you don't even know what Nearpod is and you're just here to figure it out, totally fine. I just kind of want to know where you are in your journey so that I can kind of support you moving forward. Awesome. Most people have launched a lesson or two. You know about it. You think it's fun. It's cute. She's the moment. She's great. Okay. Awesome. I'm so glad that you guys are a little bit familiar with it. That's exciting. Yes, I do believe it is fun too. Oh, everyone's answered. Awesome. Yes, a lot during virtual year. So that's kind of probably why you're here. Whoever said that, it's probably why you're here. How can you use it more in person? Very cool. I love it. Oh, where's she going? I don't know why this is giving me so much trouble today. Give me a second. I'm gonna unshare my screen because I'm gonna have to refresh this. And I don't need y'all to see that. That's fine. I hate to do this, but I am going to end the session and then pop it back up on the screen. So give me just a second. Again, not part of the plan, but it is what it is. All right. Don't be upset with me, but I do have a new code for you. It should be all good now. All right. If you haven't done so. Yes, I'm sure you guys have, but it's still I'm supposed to be presenting on how great this tool is for in person, and it's not working for me right now, but it's gonna be fine. So if you guys don't mind jumping in my with the new lesson code, I just restarted the lesson and decided to move forward that way. I'll put the link in the chat as well. Awesome. So you guys should be on the collaborate board, hopefully. And I'm going to go ahead and hide student names again so you guys don't see them. But I do have 2 questions for you, kind of around virtual and in-person instruction. How have you differentiated the virtual and in-person experience? If you have not, or if you have not thought about it, that's totally fine. You can skip it. But I do have another question for you about your concerns about using tech tools during in-person instruction. I know everyone kind of has their feelings. Again, I've hidden student names, so don't feel pressured like, you have to say something nice. You don't have to. But I just kind of want to know your experience and what that's been like for you. So either how you've differentiated virtual and learning experiences, or what concerns you have about using tech in the classroom. Yes. Yes. Just like what I just did. When something doesn't work, it can create a moment of panic. I'm just kind of luckily, like a go with the flow type of person. It's going to be fine one way or another. But yes, I totally understand that. And if you haven't done a columned version of our discussion board, if you go down to the bottom, you can switch back and forth between the 2 questions, and you can answer that way. It's a way to create some really cool experiences like in KWL chart, discussion board, or just a bunch of different topics, but have everyone's kind of thoughts and opinions there. Yes, students can get distracted on their devices. That's true. I think Nearpod has a really cool tool to kind of help you know who's on track and who's not. And I'll kind of showcase that really quickly just while we're sitting here. You can kind of see, I promise you I'm not calling anybody out. You can kind of see each and every person. You'll get a green dot if they are in the lesson with you, and you will get a red dot if they are not. Is there anybody who doesn't mind me picking on them to like show you what the more tab does? I don't want to be like.
Yeah, you can use me, Samantha Wilkinson.
All right, where is your... Okay, so Samantha has a red dot. She's not necessarily in the lesson, like following along, like right what we're doing, and that's totally fine. I can do a couple things. I can remove her if she's not supposed to be there. If she doesn't know how to act, I can remove her. But I could also make her a co-teacher, which is interesting. So I can also bring either a student in or another teacher in to make sure that
No, I did post on the wall. So does that just mean like I'm not on that tab?
If you're not on that tab, yeah.
I
If you're
see.
not on
Okay.
that tab, it'll kind of pop up. And I promise you, I wasn't trying to pick on
Oh
you.
no, I'm fine.
It's a really cool
That's
feature.
cool. I hadn't seen the more
Yeah.
button.
So that is a way to kind of monitor what students are doing. And also, again, switch up the lesson. So
That's
maybe you have a teacher that comes in and is your co-teacher, or like I think of like the times where I had a special ed teacher come in and do services, make them a co-teacher, and they're also in the lesson with you. So there are some cool features of kind of seeing where students are and what they're doing, and kind of curating that experience. Yep, other tabs play games. It's true. Yes, they can't stop touching their devices. This is not part of my presentation, but one of the things that we do have 3 different learning experiences in Nearpod. The live version, which is what you're doing, you're on your device, you're in the lesson. The student pace version, which is you as the teacher, we will practice actually in a few slides, and then you let students kind of work through slides or an entire presentation on their own and at their own pace. And then there is the the third option, which is students aren't using a device at all, but you are still using a Nearpod and having them be engaged. You can still use things like our interactive video. You can still use Nearpod games. You can still use those things, but students aren't actually on a device. It is more of a whole class experience, which is really cool. Also, Annie, if you are having trouble getting to the second column, you just click the arrow at the bottom. So if you look at my screen, this is where you would share your thoughts, and you can add in voice recording, you can add in video, picture, but you also can just click this and choose which column you want to answer in.
Okay, I see it now. Thank you. Couldn't
No
find
problem. No problem. Yes, time. There are so many tech tools. That is also a thing. Yeah, I agree. There are almost too many options, and we'll talk about and kind of go through the library to show you how we've kind of pared down that experience for you to make it beneficial and easy for you to access. So why even integrate tech tools in the first place? We've had the pandemic, we've had distance learning, we've had so many crazy things happen that why even still gravitate toward technology? I've kind of curated a cute little list for you. It can provide a wide range of choices of material for students to easily access. The fun and engaging part, dynamic and relevant media for students, an opportunity for students to learn at their own pace and kind of pique their interest in their learning using tech tools and technology. And then preparation for the future, whether we like it or not, tech is the future. And the students that are sitting in your classroom today, most of them don't know a life without technology, without computers, without a phone, without something. And that is their future. It's only going to grow. And so giving them those opportunities is, I think really important in the classroom. It's where you start to build those real life skills. And I will point out that this list is very student centered. And that's for a reason. Ultimately, I know I believe, and I can probably safely say everyone on this call believes, education, being in the classroom, it is about students. It's about their experience. It's about making them, having opportunities for them to learn and grow and be productive members of society and go on to be successful. And so nowhere on this list did I add, it's so easy for teachers, or nowhere did I add that, it's going to be, it's going to be the teacher's number one best friend, because it's not that I don't care about y'all, because I do, I promise, but I care about students' experience in the classroom more. And I'm always going to focus on what technology does for them versus the experience for teachers. Now, does Nearpod make it easy and fun and engaging and simple for teachers? Absolutely. I wouldn't be here talking to you if I thought it was complicated. But I definitely feel like integrating tech tools is more about the student experience than anything. So, I'll get off my soapbox and now move on. Also, I did link a few different articles throughout the presentation. So when you click on like a link, it'll take you directly to that article that I thought was really important and a great way to kind of look at other teachers' experiences and kind of talk through the benefits of tech in the classroom. So we're going to explore a few things today. We're going to explore student choice and voice opportunities. We're going to explore enhancing and replacing worksheets. And we're going to talk about Nearpod for centers, stations, and rotations. And then we're going to talk about virtual field trips. One of the really cool things about Nearpod is that we have a virtual field trip library, and we also work with Google 360 to pretty much go anywhere in the world or anywhere under the sun that you want to visit with your students. So we're going to kind of explore all those things. And we're going to start off with student choice, voice, and independence opportunities. The way that we are going to do that is by talking about the live to student pace option. Right now, you are in a live lesson experience, which means you are in the lesson and you are following along. I'm controlling this experience for you. And then you are kind of in the lesson doing, I can check and see what you're doing. Are you a red dot or a green dot? And kind of curate that experience that way. But the student-paced option is really, really powerful for a few different reasons. The student-paced option allows students to move through a set of slides independently. but it also can be set to a certain lesson they can work through independently. So think of, missed work opportunities, or snow days, or not that we have snow days, but um, opportunities for students to work through an entire lesson or an activity independently at their own pace, which is really cool. These slides right here are actually Google Slides within a Nearpod, so you can scroll down to look at this whole process. I'm also going to demonstrate it in the next couple of slides for you, so you're actually going to see what the student pace experience is like for a student. So starting off in a live Nearpod lesson, just like you joined with a code, you're in it, teacher's controlling it, and at any point the teacher can choose to go from live to student pace. And using this icon at the bottom, if you look at my screen, it's right here. You click on that, and then you have the choice to have the class start to move through a certain number of slides. So first you turn it on, and then you choose like, oh, I want them to go through the next 5 slides independently, and then they'll arrive back at the live lesson. And once everybody is there, the teacher will take control over the lesson again and move forward. So you change the range, you turn on student pace, and then this is the learner view. So it's going to give them a prompt to say, hey, you're working at your own pace right now, for the next few slides. And then learners can move through the slide and the work within the activity range or the slide range that you've set. The teacher experience in that, you're letting the reins go a little bit, but not really, because you can monitor what students are doing on all of those slides as they are working through them. So this example shows like, okay, well, Emily has already submitted, this person has started working, and while learners are working, the teacher continuously sees their responses and what they're doing. You can see what they've written, what they've erased. You can see, the answers that they've given, and still get those reports at the end of the lesson. And then switch it back to live participation when you're ready, which is really cool. You can just go to the same dot at the bottom that says turn off student pace. You turn it off, and then everyone's back at the live lesson and you are back in control. The way that I'm going to show you that we're going to do this, picture it. You're going through a lesson, and now it's time for that formative assessment piece, and you want students to show their learning. So you've gone through, you've taught about the rainforest, and now it's time for them to show, what they've learned and how they've learned it. Maybe you're giving students a few options, which is what I'm going to do for you. You are going to get an option of completing a draw it activity, or you can do an open-ended question activity. The draw it activity, you can draw, of course. You can add in text. You can also add in pictures or video, depending on what your teacher will allow. Open-ended questions, you can record your voice. You can type a question. You can also add in GIFs and things like that if you would like to. So that opens up a ton of different opportunities for students to show how they have learned something and kind of showcase their learning. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through that experience and then let you work through the student-paced version of the next few slides. Again, me as a teacher, I'm giving you an option. You can complete the draw it, or you can complete the open-ended question. Both of them are about tech tools, so don't worry, it's not any like heavy content or anything like that. So I'm going to go down to my right-hand corner, and I want to turn on student paced for the next couple of slides through slide 12. So my class is going to move at their own pace, starting at the current slide and then through slide 12. I'm going to turn it on. Student pace mode is on, and your students, so moving through the lesson won't affect what student sees and student pace mode. And I say, I got it. And then you guys should be off and running at this point. And hindsight, as a teacher, I'm sharing this with you because you all are in control in the classroom, but I can see who's participating, whose work is in progress right now. My questions center around your favorite tech tool or what tech tool you would like to explore. So I can look at the draw it. I can also pop over to the open-ended question and see, okay, nobody's answered open-ended questions yet. That's fine. But I can go ahead and I'm going to go switch back to draw it and see what everyone's doing for now. Feel free to play around. Oh, look, some people are getting the hang of it. You're putting in pictures, drawing and typing. While you're working, I will do a little bit of a plug for the open-ended question. I love open-ended questions because it opens up so many doors. Think about those new English language learners, or a student who is struggling with writing their thoughts. There is a record option. You can allow students to record their voices, and you as the teacher can go back and listen to them, which is really cool. All the while still getting that participation score about who's working on what. I've hidden student names on the one slide, so I could unhide them if I really want. So I can see exactly who's working on what and who's doing what. Awesome. I'll give everyone a few seconds to kind of work through that. If you have questions about this experience, feel free to drop them in the chat or unmute. Oh, VR lessons are really cool. And I picked a couple of them for you guys to kind of play around with. So I think they're cool too. Love collaborate board activities as well. Awesome. So everyone's kind of getting the hang of it. Now, would this be something that you like without technology, without Nearpod? Would you be doing something like this? Are you going to be printing a bunch of different, papers out to show, or exit tickets out to show formative to show what students have learned? Are you going to let students voice record? Without a place like Nearpod where all these things are possible, you kind of limited on what you're going to do. So I think it's a really cool opportunity for students to showcase their learning, but also, for you to do assessment and to kind of gauge where students are. I'm going to go ahead and turn off student pace mode right now. And so I've turned it off and I'm back in control for everybody. And that is just how student pace mode works. So questions before we move on to enhancing and replacing worksheets. Okay. If you do have a question, I don't mind, you can put it in the chat. So replace and enhance the worksheet. The worksheet, everybody, I don't want to say everyone loves the worksheet, but I think I know worksheets are comfortable. I know it is easy. It is like print and go, call it a day. The worksheet's done. And I really, I see why people do them. I see why people get them, but paper, it's paper. You have to grade it. You have to pull it, you have to get it all back and things like that. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways to enhance and replace worksheet and the worksheet experience. So I pulled this worksheet. It's just a 8th grade ELA worksheet on homophones. Very standard, not very fun. It's fine. You could potentially take that very worksheet and upload it as a PDF if you really just don't want the paper. You could upload it as a PDF. You can also put it in as a draw it and have students, write on it. All those things would be saved in your student report, so you could see what students draw, what students write on it. But a way to enhance it, this is a drag and drop activity. So this is what it would look like from the front. So I've put the exact same directions in there for you at the top in the instructions box. Our instructions do allow you to do, bold, color. You can do all kinds of things. You can also put video and images in our instruction boxes, which is cool, rich text. And and then have your student complete the same idea, it's still very plain. I just did it just to show you guys, but you just drag and drop the correct word into the space, and then your students submit it. And again, you get that student report. You get to see exactly what students have done. So I'll give you some time and let you just play around with that. You drag and drop the correct word. Again, as the teacher experience, I get to see who's doing what's in progress, how you're working, and all in real time. I'll hide student names again. So this is a very quick and easy way to kind of, working on gamification, some of my lessons. But can you tell who's answered first, second, and third? You'd have to watch it to see who would have answered first, second, and third. And if you're breaking kiddos into teams, I suggest like the student paced option. So as a team, they're kind of working together, and you know who's on what team, so you can see what students are working at what time, and when, and who's not working, or letting their teammates do all the work. So again, that's just a quick way to change a very simple worksheet. You can upload it as a PDF or draw it, or a drag and drop like this, or we have the same type of worksheet, but as a fill in the blank activity. So again, same style. We are just putting the word in the fill in the blank, and you as the student are adding in those words. So you would click the word. Oops. You would drag the word to wherever you want it to go. And the funny thing about, well, not funny, the great thing about fill in the blank is that this is automatically graded. So when you complete the fill in the blank, what you as the teacher have to do is type or paste the entire sentence in. And then your next step is to click the word that you want to be in the word bank, if that makes sense. And then, so the computer, Nearpod already knows what the correct answer is and how to properly grade it. So after he was sick for several days, his face went pale. I would just put it in there. I'm going to randomly put these in. And then click done. And it'll tell you exactly how many you got correct as the student. Questions about that? And on the back end of this, I'm going to switch over really quick to my actual Nearpod lessons, virtual versus in person. I'm going to go to reports. I don't think it's going to have everything up there just yet, but it's fine. I can look at the student reports and see exactly what grade students got on those activities. So then that's a step for you. You don't have to grade these things. It's still loading because we're still in the lesson. So I'll come back to it in a little bit, but you can kind of skip the grading step and pull those answers in kind of seamlessly into your grade book. Next, we're going to move on to Nearpod and centers, rotations, and stations, unless anybody has any questions. Okay. So center, stations, rotations all provide variety, extra practice, and opportunity to focus on interest depending on how you do it. I know when I was teaching third grade, it was centers is what we called them for the most part. Sometimes I call them rotations when they, centers is for little kids, but rotations, whatever you want to call them, all an opportunity to do things like choice boards or to just kind of outline the student experience for the next block of time. So you could put your student names up there. You could put, this is an example of a 5th grade rotation board. So they're going in and they're putting in the code and they're kind of creating a tic-tac-toe using these different activities within Nearpod. So that's an example of what it could look like. I could put together a very simple one for you guys to work through. Roaring 20s review rotation. So this is a Roaring 20s themed focus, and maybe a social studies teacher is doing a test review, and this is how they want to have their students kind of work through the content and review. So the first thing I did was link a student-paced lesson that you and your partner are going to go through. I also put the codes, but I've also linked it in here so you could actually click on this and it will take you to the student-paced lessons. It is prompting me to sign in with my account, and I have to work through the student-paced lesson with my partner. And then once you've gone through the student-paced lesson, you're going to work on either a sorting activity or vocab practice, up to you. So I'm giving you some choice here. You're going to join that activity, and there is match each word to the definition. And so I'm clicking through. This is a example of a matching pair. So matching pair, you as the teacher are putting in the answers for the matches. And again, this is automatically graded for you. So it's going to give the student that tries, it's going to tell if it's wrong or right. And then at the end, once you've matched all of them, the student will get an overview of how many tries they had and what they got correct. And then you as a teacher will also get that information. Really quickly, I'll show you what this cause and effect sort looks like. It's prompting me to go through it. And this actually has a translation feature already embedded into the directions. And students are dragging and dropping the cause and effect of the Roaring 20s into the activity, and they're submitting it. And that's how they're working through it. So you could really use this in any type of way if you want. It could be test review. It could be centers, like I said, maybe like a reading station. You pull passages by Lexile level. You pull passages by ERLA level, if you guys use ERLA, and let students kind of work through that without having a bunch of papers everywhere and a bunch of different manipulatives out. I think about math and all the manipulatives that are out. We have virtual manipulatives in Nearpod, so you can use base 10 blocks. You can, use fraction tiles and things like that is a way to kind of gauge student learning, and also has the accountability piece because you get to see what they are doing. Questions about that? No? We're moving on to my favorite, which is virtual field trips. I've linked an overview of the our virtual field trip library. We have quite a few by grade level and by topic. I adore our college tours. I think about, counselors, librarians. There are tons of ready to go virtual field trip for college tours for students. So maybe your student doesn't have the time or money to go all across the country to visit all these different colleges, but there are plenty of virtual field trips so they can still get a feel of what that looks like. And it's going to take you through college tour guides, questions for exploration, just the objective. And then of course it'll, ask questions, prompt you for questions like, what do you already know about the college? I could see that being some really powerful stuff for counselors. We also have content focused on pretty much every subject area for K to 12, social studies, math, ELA. It's all there. It's all ready to go. You name it, we got it. And if we don't have it, we also have a partnership with Google 360. So you can just kind of type in the different experiences or places that you want to go, and it will come up. I'll give you some time to kind of explore Egypt and the Sphinx and what that looks like. Yes, I agree. I think the college tours are so cool because it's not just, oh, visit the college. There's actual questions and collaboration and talking about, the programs that the colleges have that they're known for. So I think it could be really lead to some really great career planning conversation. So I think that'd be a really cool thing to introduce to people. So hopefully you got some time to look at the Sphinx and the pyramids around here. This is an example of the 360 partnership that we have with Google. So you type in a place and send that out. And then I'll take you guys to Baltimore because maybe you're learning about Maryland history and learning about the pride of Baltimore, and you want your students to see what that looks like without going on an actual field trip, or just to expose them, maybe you in preparation for a field trip. And I can quickly show you how to incorporate a VR lesson and how to search them up and add them to a lesson once we're done and we want to explore a little bit. So I know we're winding up on time, so I'm going to scoot through and just kind of get your ideas of for incorporating Nearpod in in-person learning. I know I gave you kind of a lot to think about, a lot of different examples. I kind of pulled some of my favorite ways to incorporate Nearpod into in-person learning and making meaningful for the teacher and the student, make it engaging. So I'd love to hear some ideas of how you can incorporate Nearpod into your in-person learning experience. Yeah, I love it. Agreed. And if you want, you can also you can interact with each other on the discussion board. So maybe you want to leave a comment or you want to heart something. I love the idea of doing teamwork in person too. I think that'd be really cool. Um, yes, it does keep students on track, whether they like it or not. I agree. I wish they had that when I was a student. I mean, I ended up at St. Mary's College of Maryland, not super far, maybe about an hour and some change from where I actually grew up. But I would have loved to explore all the possibilities around the world because it does go around the world. There's some colleges in there from Ireland, I think, and just overseas, and some experiences that I think students don't necessarily think about. Yeah, the audio option is a game changer. I agree. Um, I will also say that we immersive reader is built in to the Nearpod platform. So not only can you use the audio option, but you can also do things like translate, break words down by parts of speech, use the picture library for those students who might be struggling with reading. Agreed. I love the virtual field trips too. Yes. I think the student-based option is a really cool way to give students not only some choice, but just to, empower them to take control of their learning in general. I feel like if you don't care, then you don't care. So I think making them kind of in charge of their learning kind of changes the dynamic a little bit and really gets them engaged. So yes, I love the idea of making it a center rotation. I wish I had had it. Do you even know all the games? I just think about all like the workplace games for math that I used to have to make, and it would be really cool to replicate that kind of stuff in Nearpod and have them be able to use those manipulators without having them all over the floor. Stuff like that would have been really cool to have. Awesome. I love your feedback. Um, Before I jump into my personal Nearpod, I want to leave you with a couple of things. First, I have to shout out you guys. Anne Arundel County has a Nearpod support page, and that is where you will find monthly updates and tools for you all that are specifically curated for Anne Arundel County. I send updates and all kinds of things there. And the people at the district level, I work with Stephanie and Carrie, and they are wonderful at thinking about what you all need and kind of putting those resources out for you. So please, please, please visit that page. It links you to our help desk and all kinds of things. So really helpful. And then I put a couple of articles like the benefits of technology, some student-centered learning examples with technology, and how to use that virtual field trip option in a Nearpod lesson, and how to kind of leverage that and make that a really fun and engaging experience. And of course, I have my information. If you need me, questions, concerns, help, suggestions, anything at all, I love to hear it. I love to help. So please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm going to pop over into my actual Nearpod and show you guys a couple of things. Is there anything specific that you guys want to see while I'm in here? If not, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I think are important to kind of note before we close out. Also, Samantha did put the attendance and exit ticket information in the chat, so please do that before you pop out of here. I know we have 11 until 11:55, but I'm going to point out a couple of things that that I think are super important for you all to see. So first, I'm going to pop over to our Nearpod library and just point out our publishers. We work with a ton of companies, and if there isn't a partnership up here yet, then we're probably working on it. If you have a suggestion or something you like, talk to us, let me know. I can send it over to our product team, and we work with pretty much everyone. It's insane. So all these lessons and activities are already linked and ready to go. So you love News ELA, fantastic. We have it already with broken out for you by grade level, grade band. You can preview the content and add it directly to your lesson library. We have videos, lessons, activities already linked and ready to go. I talked about interactive video in one of my sessions today, and our interactive video is a complete game changer because not only are students watching video, but they're also answering questions in either open-ended questions or multiple choice questions during a video. You can upload your own videos and create your own questions, or you can pull one of our videos and that already have questions built into it. Any video that's already linked into the Nearpod library already naturally has questions that we've embedded for you. You can take those out, you can edit them. So all that stuff is already ready to go. So yeah, check out our publishers. We have so many, and all their resources are linked. They're all really wonderful and of course vetted. I wanted to show you how to quickly add an experience. So you could do quick start activities like matching pairs, time to climbs, anything like that. But if you want to create a lesson, there's two ways to do it. You can upload your Google Slides and make them like Nearpodized, made up word. Or you can come in and just create a one-off slide. You can add in the field trip. So here's a field trip option. I want to add in a field trip. And this is 360 cities that I was telling you about. You just type in a place and it'll pull up what it has for that place. So if I scroll a little bit, we have the Annapolis Town Center here, a snow day in Annapolis. We have all kinds of stuff. You can go to Egypt, you can go to Capitol Hill, the Golden Gate Bridge, all that stuff is here. You type it in, and we'll try to find you what we can, and then you just go in and you save it there for you to save and exit, and it'll be in your lesson library for you. Yeah, I agree. iCivics is really cool. I'm going to show you So there's live participation, student pace. There also is the front of class option that I noted earlier, where students aren't on devices at all. This is a video option. So what the front of class looks like is it prompts the video. It says it's interactive. Would you like to turn on the interactive mode? It'll pause at key moments for questions and discussion. And I'm going to click yes, I do. These blue dots are the questions, all of which you can edit, all of which you can delete or add your own. These are just the ones that come with the video already. And you play it. And again, it's a front of class experience. So your students aren't on computers at all, but you're still stopping and getting these questions answered and discussed. So what do you already know about photosynthesis? Natural stopping place for the video, you discuss as a class. So you're still using the tech tool, but maybe you're scaling back on how much, students are actually on their devices. So this is a true and false example. You can show the correct answer, have students discuss. So I wanted to show you that. Is there anything specific that you guys really want to see with our last few minutes or questions that you had? No questions? Wow. Okay, cool. That's fine.
I had a quick one actually, Asia.
Sure.
When we were in the Nearpod off on the right, it allowed me to save to Google Drive. Is that just any notes that I'm taking, or is it also
The entire presentation.
it
And
is?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
so it'll go
Thank
by slide, and then whatever notes you wrote, it'll show up for you. So honestly, if you check your Google Drive now, you should be able to see.
So it's when the lesson finishes.
Mhm.
That's a great feature. Thanks.
Yep. I love that feature. I always point it out. Thank you guys so much. Make sure that you fill out the attendance and exit ticket information, and I'm around if you need me. If you want to stay on for the next couple of minutes and ask questions or play around, feel free to. I'll be here for a few minutes. So yeah, thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate you coming.